Welcome back, children. Once again, this is Anzo here with the fourth part of manipulating images using GIMP. Shall we go through today's module? Today, I will be discussing about text tool, eraser tool, and bucket fill tool, and what are the steps to use these. Text tool. In GIMP, you can use text tool to add text to your image in the form of a layer. That is, if you want to add some kind of text, it may be names, it may be things that you like to put on the page, maybe the name of the place, anything you can add. You always use the text tool. You always do that in photos also when you use a photo editor. The same thing we are using here. We take a text box, in that we type our details which we require. You can apply the appropriate font and color to your text. That is, once you finish typing, you can change it to the font you like. You can also change the size of your text. The size of your text also can be changed. It can be enlarged or it can be made smaller also. But please understand, when you use a text tool, it appears as a layer above your image. Eraser tool. The eraser tool allows you to erase areas of the picture from the current layer or from the selected region of a particular layer. That is, you are currently working on more than one layers, and the topmost layer is your current layer, and you want to erase a portion of that. You can use that eraser, or you can select one of the layers below, and from that also you can erase some areas from it. Erase means to remove from the picture. Now let's go through the steps to use the eraser tool. Open the required image. The first step is you need to open the image in GIMP. Select the required area in the image using any selection tool. You can use any one of the selection tools that you have studied in the previous video. You can use any one that is appropriate for you, and with that, select the required area. On the image window, click the Tools menu. And then you need to click on the Tools menu in the image window or the middle window. From the drop-down list, point to the Paint tools and select the Eraser option. You need to point to the Paint tools. From the Paint tools, you have to look for the Eraser option. And when you click on the Eraser option, your mouse pointer changes into the shape of the eraser. Erase the required colors from the selected region in an image. Then what you need to do is you have to use the eraser on the image and rub off the areas that you don't want. So I'll explain it one more time. You need to open the image in GIMP. Then you have to use a selection tool of your choice and select the area that you need to work on. Then third step is you need to click on Tools menu. From that you have to look for Paint tools. From that you need to click the Eraser option, and the eraser, when it comes, you need to rub off the excess paint from the areas you need to remove. Now let's talk about Bucket Fill tool. Bucket Fill tool allows you to fill the selected area of your image with the current foreground color. Your foreground is the area where your image is placed. The color that is on your picture is your foreground color, and whatever is behind that is the background color, that is usually white in color. You can change the color from white to something else too. So Bucket Fill tool allows you to fill selected areas of the image. Wherever you want to change the color, you can click on that and use the Bucket Fill to fill it with the color you require. To use the background color instead, to fill the selected areas, press Ctrl+. You need to click Ctrl and plus key together. If you want it in the foreground, you just need to use the Bucket Fill tool. If you want to work on the background, then you have to use the Ctrl+ key. Editing foreground and background colors. In GIMP, the foreground and background color palette displays the colors in the toolbox. The foreground and background colors shows you a palette of colors that can be used from the toolbox. You can use the foreground and background color palette to carry out multiple tasks such as painting, filling the selected region, etc. That is, if you want to beautify the picture by adding a little more color to it, then you can use this color palette. If you want to only fill a selected region of the picture, then also you can use the same option. To edit foreground and background colors, open the required image in GIMP. On the toolbox window, click the foreground color in the palette. You need to click on the foreground color. Then you will get the change foreground color dialog box. From the color palette, click the required color. From that you need to click on the color that you need and then click OK. To swap foreground and background color areas, click on the small curved line 2 arrowheads icon. To reset the foreground and background colors to their default colors, that is the colors that they began with or the basic colors that was already there, click on the default color icon. If you want it back to the previous one or the first case, then you have to use the default color icon. Let me explain one more time. You need to open the required image in GIMP. Then from the toolbox, you need to click the foreground color and the change foreground color dialog box comes. From that, you have to use the color palette and click the required color. Then click OK. So you have selected a color and you can do your work. If you want to swap between foreground and background, you have to look for the 2 arrowheads icon on the side. And if you want it to the initial settings, then you have to go for default color icon. With that, we come to the end of today's presentation. Please go through these portions at least 2 to 3 times and understand the concept. Thank you.